Welcome to The Point of View. I'm your host, DDE80, aka Mike D, aka 13th Wonder of the World. And I'm here today on March the 5th, 2025 at 11:57 a.m., about to be 12 o'clock. Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reezy. Love you, brother. Shout out to M. Breezy. Shout out to Naya. Love you, niece. Shout out to my sister. I love all y'all. Thank y'all for listening to The Point of View that is on either the Podbean app or YouTube. Thank all of you that listens to my to my Point of View. I said Podbean, I'm sorry. You know I'm getting sleepy and I need to go get me some rest for a little while. But man, I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys for a few minutes. Hopefully not that long. But first of all, I want to talk about, what do I want to talk about first? Oh, I want to talk about the three legends in the NBA still last night put on some great games. Steph Curry in New York, beating the Knicks without Karl Anthony Towns, which I knew was going to happen. KD and the Phoenix Suns come back and beat the Clippers. And of course the Lakers beat the Pelicans. Sorry, Fade Away. I know that's your team. But LeBron James has scored over 50,000 points combined in the NBA. 50,000 points, which is a record that I don't think nobody's going to break. LeBron James, again, sets the record straight to showing everybody that even though Michael Jordan is 1 and Kobe Bryant is 1A, he is 1C. LeBron James is 1C, folks. It's just all to it. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. He's the greatest scorer in NBA history. And right now, he's glad to be in the NBA because he does not have to do all the other stuff. The pressure is on Luka Doncic. So Luka's doing this thing as well for the Lakers. Lakers are number 2 in the Western Conference. That is a great sign right now. But the test games are coming because we still got to play New York. We still got to play Boston. We still got to play Denver again, and those are going to be some tough games. This is going to prove if we're built, if we can beat these teams in the next couple of weeks. And I'm talking about a tough Denver team, a tough Boston team who's the champions, and a tough Milwaukee team that has finally gotten themselves together to make something happen. Great, man. Great game by the Lakers. The Lakers has won 7 in a row. So we're going to see what happens now. They're 7-2 since Luka has been with LA. So we're going to see what happens as the moving pieces go forward, as well as what the Warriors are going to do. Can Phoenix get in the play-in? Can Golden State make it to the 6th seed, which I think they are at now? Can the Clippers maintain and stay in the play-in or the playoffs? What's Minnesota going to do? Can Ant-Man and now Julius Randle get these boys back into a playoff contention? You know, it sucks that Kyrie Irving's injured. That sucks for Dallas. Of course, Joel Embiid's injured. Wemby's injured. Greg Popovich is not coaching. You know, it's been a tough 2025, man. And not only that, but I want to give a great condolences to everybody around here in the local area has lost somebody this year. Whether it's worldwide, locally, or wherever. There's a lot of people that's been passing the last couple of days in 2025. I think Dolly Parton's husband died. Gene Hackman, who played Lex Luthor, also played in Hoosiers. Him and his wife and his dog died. man, it's tough. It is tough, man. Chris Jasper from the Isleys, he died. A couple of rock and roll singers died. It's tough, you know. One of my classmates, his mom died yesterday. Man, it was tough. She died in his arms, actually, and that's tough to hear. And my condolences goes to them as well, and things like that. We're just praying that God, you know, console those that are losing loved ones, man. And I know how it feels to lose mamas, man, because I've been without a mama for almost 8 years now, and I know how tough it can be when, you know, your mom is your rock and you can't talk to her physically, but you know she's there for you still, even though she's not physically with you. And that's just a sidebar on what I was saying. Oh, man. I didn't get on yesterday. I was kind of out of it, and some things was going on. The weather was kind of acting up and things like that. But I'm here today to talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw. Now, I'll get into the other situations, but let me say this first. All of my predictions I had for WrestleMania has been turned upside down. And I'll tell you why. I thought it was going to be Rhea Ripley going one-on-one with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Well, Rhea Ripley loses the women's title to Io Sky. So Io Sky is the champion, and it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Io Sky for right now. I think that match is going to change, and I think it's going to be Bianca versus Rhea versus Io at WrestleMania for the women's title. Let me close the door for a minute. Sorry, guys. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to have a triple threat for the title. And I think that Io Sky is just a placeholder with the title. I could be wrong, but I don't think her championship run is going to be long. I think they'll either give the belt to Bianca or they give the belt back to Rhea. Here's where I'm confused at. It looks like that Bianca Belair is about to become a heel. It looks like she has heelish. She's starting to show heelish tendencies. And if Bianca's about to become a heel, and the Street Profits that are already heels, what a faction that's going to be. If you got Bianca as the Raw Women's Champion, there's no doubt about it, the Street Profits are coming back to Raw. And they're going to make some noise. It's interesting to see what that is right there. And I'm just focusing on that part right there because I know everything else that happened on Raw. Lyra defeated Ivan Nile in a great match. The Creeds lost to the Viking Raiders, which was a great tag match. We saw Gunther go up against Otis, and Jey Uso came back out there and things like that. And he got attacked by Gunther. We saw CM Punk and Seth Rollins fight it out. They're going to fight in New York City this coming Monday in a steel cage. That's going to be interesting, man, because that's the debut of WWE 2K25, which is going to be next week. I think the early edition is this Friday. But guys, let me tell y'all something. Roman Reigns is going to pop up at that steel cage match. I could bank on it, but my predictions, man, and what I had shot for, well, I'm right about one thing. It will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I think. Because I think the match is going to go with them. I said Logan Paul could possibly go up against Damian Priest. I don't see that now. I think we're going to have Logan Paul against AJ Styles. It could be AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker versus Logan Paul versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania in a fatal four-way. That could be a great match as well. Now, let me also talk about something else too. Karrion Kross still does not have a match at WrestleMania. Who is he going to fight? I thought it was going to be Sami Zayn. Unless Sami Zayn comes back before WrestleMania, then I still think they could possibly have a match. I don't know. Right now, I don't know who Liv and Raquel's going to fight at WrestleMania for the women's tag team titles. I don't know nothing. I know what I see, and they have changed up the format on Raw, and I'm quite sure they're going to change the format up on SmackDown. Let me get into NXT for a second. Congratulations goes to Shawn Spears. After all this time, he's now a North American champion. Congratulations to the Perfect 10 for becoming a champion in NXT. He deserved it. Tony D has nothing to be ashamed of. I do think Tony D will be a part of the main roster. I think it's time for Tony D to go to either Raw or SmackDown. I think it's time for Fallon Henley go to the main roster. I think it's time for Trick go to the main roster. I don't think Kalani needs to go yet, but if she does, put her on SmackDown. It's a lot of people that needs to go to the main roster. I think the tag team champions of NXT should be going to the main roster. It's a great thing, to see the Hardy Boys on NXT along with Moose and along with, I think Masha Savage. But if Cora Jade is hurt again, then who's going to fight her? Because it's going to be Cora Jade. It was Cora Jade versus Jordynne Grace last night, and they had to stop the match. I'm hoping that she's not injured again. Speaking of injuries, Cody Rhodes got injured by Travis Scott. Travis Scott really did punch Cody Rhodes kind of hard and things like that. So, there's rumors saying that The Rock's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania Night 1. I don't believe that. I think you put Rock, John Cena, and Travis Scott on teams. And here's another rumor. Stone Cold Steve Austin was backstage at the Elimination Chamber. Why was Austin there? Was he there to promote something? Or was he there to get plans on what he's going to do? If Stone Cold Steve Austin is through into this mix with Rock and John Cena and Travis Scott with Cody Rhodes, man, look out, somebody's going to get stunned. That's going to be interesting to see. They said Trish had a match at Mania, but it looks like they don't know yet. So we'll have to figure that out as well. We know that Charlotte Flair's going to go up against Tiffany Stratton. We know that Bianca Belair, as of now, is going up against Io Sky, which is going to be changed to a triple threat, because I think it's going to be involving Rhea Ripley as well. It's got to involve her. We know that Jey Uso is going to go up against Gunther, and we know Cody and John Cena is going to fight as well. What other matches are we going to see at WrestleMania? Here's the side matches. I will tell you what I think is going to happen. It will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in a triple threat. That's one of mine. I think we will see Jacob Fatu versus Solo at WrestleMania. That's another match I think is going to happen. I want to know, is going to be LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania? Does LA Knight get the moment? Yes, he does. Kevin Owens against Randy Orton is going to take place at WrestleMania. Yes, it is, because Randy Orton was pointing at the WrestleMania sign when he returned at the Elimination Chamber. So that match is going to happen. Now, what's going to happen with Lyra? What's going to happen with Chelsea? And what's going to happen with the tag team titles? Here's what I think is going to happen. On the SmackDown side, you have 5 tag teams that are going to be gunning for DIY for the tag team titles. You've got Garza and Carrillo. You've got the Street Profits. You've got Pretty Deadly. And you got the Motor City Machine Guns. That's 4 teams, plus DIY makes 5. Make it a 5-team ladder match for the tag team titles. Then you go to Raw. If you want the tag teams to fight against the War Raiders, here's what you do. You put the Raw Raiders up against the Creeds. You put the Raw Raiders up against LWO, whoever you want. It could be Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee. It could be, what's the name? Wild and Cruz. You can make that happen either way. You can put the Judgment Day in there. Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. That's another team. Then you can put the New Day in there. So you can make tag team matches, ladder matches at WrestleMania. Therefore, each team has a shot at it, and each team get a payday. See what I'm saying? I think you go Lyra versus Dakota versus Io in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Women's title at WrestleMania. Still, Sheamus does not have a match. I still think Braun Breaker will go up against AJ Styles, Logan Paul, and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If you want to take the belt off Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, put him in a fatal 4-way where he does not get pinned and lose the title. He's not going to lose the title straight up. That's one thing I can tell you about that guy. Now, Shinsuke Nakamura will possibly lose to LA Knight like that. Nobody knows what Drew McIntyre is going to do. Drew McIntyre may throw his hat in the United States title hunt. That could be interesting. Who does Drew McIntyre fight at WrestleMania? Is it Damian Priest? We would love to see that match again. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. You got to put them in something. You've got to use your stars, guys. They've got to use them. Back to NXT. What else happened on there? Oh yeah, Kalani Jordan lost to Jada Parker. I said this and I'll say this again. I think Jada Parker, Miss Parker, will be a champion before the end of the year. I do believe it. I think she has the potential. She has the it factor where she could become either a women's North American champion or a women's NXT champion. And who's going to lose this match in Madison Square Garden next week between Stephanie Vacaria and Julia? If Julia wins this match, Stephanie probably will be a part of the main roster. That's just my thought on it. It could possibly happen because I don't see you making that match that early. That's too early to be having that match unless you got big plans for the loser. And I think the loser will possibly be a part of the main roster. Do I think Julia's going to lose? I don't think Julia's going to lose because I think they see something in Julia more than they do in Stephanie. Even though Stephanie is a top talent, even though she's good at what she does, and I think she fits to be the North American Women's Champion. But I'm just saying, I think you go with Julia. Julia's the champion, the world champion at that. So you go with her. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea and Piper Niven lost on NXT last night. They lost to the team of Zarya and Sol Ruka. Very great tag team. And this is why I say this again. I will say this again. Bring back the women's NXT tag team titles, man. You've got to do it, man. You need to be doing that because you got too many women on that show that are tag teams, and they're not fighting against the women's tag teams. They're not gonna beat Liv and Raquel, excuse me. They're not gonna beat them. They're not gonna beat them. It's not gonna happen. No. And before I get off here, and I know tonight is AEW Dynamite. Tomorrow I'll be back on with AEW Dynamite. But let me talk about something for a minute in sports, in the NFL. Darius Slay was cut by the Eagles. They gave Saquon Barkley extension. I'm trying to figure out what are the Eagles doing. I know they got Cooper and those boys that did a lot in the Super Bowl. So they decided to let Darius Slayton go. Man, let me tell y'all something. Wherever Darius Slay goes, I didn't say Slayton, excuse me. I meant to say Darius Slay. Wherever Darius Slay goes, he's going to make an impact somewhere as a defensive player because he's one of the best. And for him to be gone after winning the Super Bowl, that's tough. But the Eagles did cut him. The Vikings did not franchise tag Sam Darnold, which means he's probably free to go wherever he wants to go if he wants to. The big question is, where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? Where is Russell Wilson going to go? And Michael Pittman has been said, they have said that Michael Pittman is going to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings next year. Or the Falcons. I think Kirk Cousins is on the move. I think he's going to be gone. They're going with J.J. McCartney, who was Michigan's quarterback, is going to be probably the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, and Michael Pittman is going to be the starting quarterback for the Falcons next year, if I'm not mistaken, because Kirk Cousins is not going to be the starter from what I heard. And if I was Kirk Cousins, I'm on my way out of there because somebody's going to need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, you got Russell Wilson, Oakland's looking for a quarterback, Giants. If I'm the Giants, I am drafting a quarterback. I am drafting either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Those are my two picks. I'm picking them. And I'm hoping to God that the New England Patriots get Travis Hunter in the draft. I don't know who's going to get Alshon Jeffrey, but I'm hoping that the Patriots get him in the draft. I'm praying that they get Travis Hunter because Drake May will have another target to throw the ball to. And this is an impact player that can make something happen. And they need to get it. Get him. Please. Please, New England. Do what you can to get Travis Hunter to come play for the New England Patriots. We don't care if he wants to play wide receiver and cornerback. Get him out there. Get him out there. Football coming up, the draft is coming up and things like that. The NBA playoffs coming up starting, I think, the end of next month. Also, March Madness is about to start in the next week, if I'm not mistaken. I saw the number one seed get beat last night. Auburn. Auburn was number one, and Auburn got beat last night by, I think, Texas A&M or somebody. I think it was the Aggies that beat them. And I know that they killed a lot of people's spread because they thought that those boys were going to win that game. And they were supposed to win that game by 4 points. I don't know how many points they lost by, but I think they lost. Northwestern State is going to go to the Southland Conference this year, folks. They have a chance to get in the NCAA March Madness tournament if they win this game next week. And I'm hoping that Northwestern do it because I want to see them get in there. They might not do too much in the tournament, but I just want to see them get in there and get a bid. I want them to be a part of the top 64. I remember when they beat Iowa back in 2006. I remember that. When old boy hit that jump shot from down here. Jermaine Wallace, I think that was his name. So I want to see what happens with that. And then I'll be pumping up my March Madness on Xbox 360. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? But anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get off of here. I am going to give me some rest. I'm going to try to sleep until AEW Dynamite comes on tonight. Get myself prepared for the job later. Hopefully, my new podcast equipment comes in so we can start this thing, man, where I can do my semi-casts with my boys. That's coming soon, folks. But until then, God bless you. God keep you. Enjoy your Wednesday. Pray for me, and I'll pray for you. Love all y'all. Out.